One of the things that we've done over the last decade or so is accustomed both enterprises and consumers to this instant gratification I think Rajesh was mentioning earlier, where if I go from standard definition to high definition to 4K, I want the same experience. I want my games to play faster, my network to perform better, and to be able to support, people either together in a common workplace or highly distributed. And it's interesting because our own future of connectedness prediction talks about that delivery of seamless digital experiences that are highly data centric, moving that data to the right place at the right time. And Rajesh, I'd just like to come back to you for a moment and let's drill down on this converged network a little bit. And can you pick out the parts that make that network can really simplified in terms of architecture compared to the existing network operations that operators are dealing with today?
Yeah, as I said, with the layered networks, there are a lot of active elements sitting in the network, and which I mentioned are three the most expensive stuff which is lying out there, and the technology is getting transitioned to simplify this into a routed optical network. And one of them is about the transponders, and transponders have got transformed into transceivers, which are becoming pluggables, and pluggables can be inserted inside a router, and which can go up to the speeds of even 400 gig. So you're able to bring the high speeds, bring the dollar per bit much more better at a lower cost, right? So that's how you're bringing the heavy, expensive transponders to a small pluggables transceivers inside a router. That's number one. Number two, as you're bringing the convergence into an IP layer, what you're able to bring is about a similar service ubiquity of not only the IP, but even the TDM services. So the TDM services, which are so expensive today to offer it because of the high SLAs which is required, you're able to transport them into a single IP network, leveraging a technology known as segment routing. And segment routing has a lot of functionalities, which brings in an equivalent of service SLAs of a TDM on an IP network. That's a number two. Number three, once you're able to do that, you're able to collapse your multiple control planes. As I said, there are three control planes, right? One you have is the OTN layer, you have the DWDM layer, and then the IP layer. Now, as a result of all this, you're eliminating your third element, which is your OTN and the digital cross connects, which are again very expensive to provision. So you can imagine that you're able to remove these three active components of the network, collapse them on a single IP network. You're reducing the layers, and you're able to manage your service provisioning. The last part is the service provisioning and automating it and the lifecycle management. Bringing all these benefits, what you're able to do is collapsing the layers, reducing the complexity, simplifying it, flattening the network, and then able to bring the cost benefit for a service provider. That's the beauty of these technology transitions which are happening, which every service provider will have to go through. Now, whether you do that in the core part of the transport network, or you do it at the metro or the edge of the network, depending on where the traffic patterns are moving. And we all discussed right now that the traffic patterns are heavy at the edge. So you can decide whether you want to do the converged transport at the metro, edge, or in the core part of the networks.